Hello and welcome everyone on our What's New in memoQ webinar. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Bence. I will be the host of this little webinar. Before we jump into the presentation, let me do a quick housekeeping. The webinar is recorded and the recordings will be available on our site. Everyone who is here today will receive the Q&A sheet as well and an email when the recording is uploaded to the site. The presentation itself will be around 45 minutes long, and then we will have time for the question and answers. If you have any questions during the presentation, please make sure that you use the Q&A section of the Zoom panel. Our presenters today will be Marianna Nagy and Zsolt Varga, two of our product managers here at memoQ. Hi Marianna, hello Zsolt, hope you are here and hear me well.
Hey Bence, I'm here. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm here too. I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, very great. Thank you. And Marianna, the floor is yours.
There you are. I hope you can see my screen.
Yep.
So, hi everyone. This is Marianna, and I would like to introduce you the new memoQ backup wizard. The wizard has been released last autumn, so it came together with 9.13. Therefore, any of you who has already downloaded 9.13 realize that the backup wizard came together with Translator Pro 9.13 version. And it is a separate tool. It is not working together with the Translator Pro client app. It's a separate tool, but it's connected to the Translator Pro client app. The backup wizard is created based on a lot of support tickets, user ideas on the idea portal, and other requests and pain points in many user groups on Facebook and other social platforms. All these requests we gather together and find out that these could be addressed in one go, because these were related to very specific basic needs that you have to move on from one computer to the other. And this became the backup wizard, a separate tool. A backup itself is nothing new. We wanted to add some more functionalities to this backup functionality. These new functionalities are long missed. These were long missed by translators, but also maybe by project managers. And we also wanted to make it easier to use. We wanted to build you something nice, something pretty, something good to look at. And this was also one of our reasons to build you the backup wizard. I hope we succeeded with this. But I will be more than happy to hear your feedback about it later on. So what are the benefits that you as a freelancer can gain using backup wizard? So one of the benefits is mobility. Mobility is a very basic need from all of us, I think, to be able to work from wherever you want to work, not to be tied to any places in the world. As a freelancer, you are able to work from anywhere. So this is a very basic need, altogether with business continuity. Business continuity is also something very important, not to waste time when you need to switch devices, when you need to have a new device and move on all your work, all your memoQ installation, all your stuff, what you just have in your memoQ. Now you are able to move everything with just a few clicks. Thirdly, how to prepare for something that it's unpredictable. We'll see. The backup wizard will help you with that. And last but not least, let me mention digital ergonomics, which is nothing different then customizing your user profiles and having everything there, what feels and how memoQ feels like, how it feels like working in memoQ. So the wizard supports a number of use cases, starting with the very basic one that was already available in older version. And this is mobility. And this is the feature to be able to back up one or two projects of your choice. So starting from the memoQ client application, you need to select one or several projects and click Backup Selected Project. At this point, you will be directed to memoQ Backup Wizard, where you already see your project selected, and anything else, what is included already in your project, will be selected as well. So you have all your data together with your project. And let me stop here for a second. Reference resources are translation memories that are not set as master or working translation memories, and term bases which are not set as target for new terms. But you as a linguist may have a bunch of reference resources attached to your project. And you might not want, or you might want backing up all these reference resources. But at this point, you are able to select if you would like to have your reference resources backed up or not, saving time. So saving time, because reference resources might be huge resources that are not updated every day. So basically, you have all your resources that are attached to those specific projects selected for backup already selected in the list. And these are the resources that are grayed out. So the grayed out resources you cannot remove from the backup package if you selected a specific project, but you can definitely add new resources to the backup package. You can add term bases, translation memories, and also light resources. But if you don't have, let's say, any muses attached to those specific projects, then these you will have an information about it. About light resources, there is a list of light resources as well where you can select them, but it's a merged list. So there is no separate list about light resources. And at this point, you only have to choose a place where to store your backup. And this place can anywhere be. So this place can be your choice. This can be your Dropbox or OneDrive or another drive of your choice. The memoQ client application needs to be closed during the backup process and also the restore process. So this is the way, the most how you can back up your daily work and move on working in another device, because some of you work on 2 different devices. Some of you switch computers daily. Let's say when going on a specific day into the office, or just working in the garden while the children are sleeping, or just you don't want to waste time, lose time during daily commute. Let's move on to the restore process. This is the second step on the way to work on another device. And this you can also start from the client application, just selecting the specific backup package that you want to restore. And as you see, you can also restore the old backup packages, not just the new ones. So for restoring your packages, you can look at the details and have a look at the scope, the content that is included in your backup package, but you cannot decide about the scope, so you cannot change the scope of your restore process. But you have an information about what is in the backup package, and also if you have some content already on your memoQ app on your computer, you need to decide if you want to keep that content as it is or overwrite it with the content that is included in the backup package. So this is also something new, and I hope it's much clearer than the restore process you had before in older versions. And of course, memoQ client app needs to be closed during the restore process again. Mobility is, however, not limited to a few projects. You can also back up your whole installation. And this is only with a few clicks, starting from your memoQ dashboard with backup memoQ. So when you select backup memoQ, it will take you to the backup wizard, and the whole installation, all the content that you have on your computer will be selected by default. Everyone has been or will be in a situation to move from one computer to another. Migrate your memoQ installation to a new device easily with a few clicks. But you can also customize it as shown before. What is included in this backup package? It's important to know. Included are local projects, server URLs, local heavy resources, local light resources, but not included are local copies of online projects and online resources. And also not included are credentials, passwords. These are the things, so empty credentials, for example. These are the things that you need to enter when you set up a new computer. And this is for good security reasons. Default resources, so the ones that are called default and provided by memoQ, are also not included. These are the ones that cannot be edited, only cloned. But if you have a new computer with installed memoQ client, then you will have all these default resources already on your computer. And there is no licenses change in this backup. So if you would like to use a very new device, you need to contact support as before. What really new is in this, the last option, what you see under memoQ options. User options are included in this backup. This is completely new. I talked once to a lovely user who explained to me that he has a 300-row Excel sheet that he put together over the years, collecting all the things, all the small little pieces of memoQ appearance, just to be prepared for switching computers. So I was really amazed about it. Putting so much energy, so much effort into collecting all those small little things that make you feel memoQ, that you make happy about working in memoQ. This is amazing. memoQ options, so just one little tick here does the very same for you. It is meant to be there to collect all your very small or even major settings, like I will show you in a second what I mean. But this is meant to collect all the settings that you need for your everyday work to be able to have the feeling that memoQ is tailored for your needs in layout. So this is something completely new. How to be prepared for the unpredictable. How to recover after a crash. I've read a couple of, well, many support tickets shouting out for help. Hey guys, my computer crashed. How should I get my files back? I need to work. Well, the scheduled backup functionality is aimed to help you with this. While migrating from one computer to the other is a manual backup, the scheduled backup is an automatic and recurring backup from your daily work. It is not limited to projects. You can back up any content as you wish, separately or all together. You can decide if reference TMs, TBs are needed or not. You can decide if all TMs are needed or not. If you select all TMs, then also newly created TMs will be included in the backup. Please define as many scenarios as you wish. It's unlimited. You can define, let's say, a daily backup from your projects. You can define a daily backup from your translation memories. You can define, let's say, a weekly backup from your most important resources, just to keep your data safe, just to keep your daily work safe. And of course, you can schedule a monthly backup, let's say, from the whole device, from anything you have in your memoQ. If you click on logs, you can also get information about any of the backup and restore actions that you made with the backup wizard. And last but not least, let me talk about digital ergonomics. I mean, this is a flawless user experience when working within the app. This is what we call memoQ options, having memoQ options. As a linguist, you may have different settings for your different roles. Being a translator in one project, and then being a reviewer in another project for another client may require from you different layout, different types of settings. Right now, you only need to enter this one time, like here. All you need to do is to create a backup with only memoQ options and store it like translator for client A. So this is one backup package, only one backup package with memoQ options. And then let's say you work as a reviewer in another project for another client, and you have to have other very specific layout requirements, let's say for auto propagation or spell checker or whatever you would like to have. You need to store this second scenario, this second set of settings and rows only once under memoQ options. Let's say here you have a font for 14, and then you have another color scheme for the status color, or just another list of translation results. You apply, and then you make a backup from all these memoQ options. But you only have to do this once. Once this is stored, the next time when you need a translator scenario, a translator set of rules, set of settings, you only have to restore that very specific backup package from your drive and continue working as nothing happened. You don't need to remember all the very small pieces that you need to change when working in another role, in another scenario, in another a project, or for another client. I hope that this you will find useful for your daily work as a translator, as a linguist. But I'm pretty sure that it might also be useful for language service providers and for enterprises who want to have the same set of settings for all project managers within the company, or you need to onboard a new project manager and you want to have the first set of settings ready. Thank you very much for your attention. This was all from me.
Okay, so if you guys and girls have any questions regarding Mariana's presentation and the wonderful backup wizard, please use the Q&A section. In the meantime, I'll take over just a second, and I'll be talking about some more new features. All right, so I'm going to be talking about some more ideas and user needs. As Mariana explained, we try and pick from the most popular and mostly debated or highly needs ideas from the idea portal. We talk to customers, use social media to understand the specific needs, and then we formulate a solution after we understand the problem. And the ideas that you'll be seeing here, some of them are new, some of them are old. Let's start out with an old one. The first one is the new concordance feature that appeared in 9.12. Why am I showing this now? Well, because we changed it. We changed because of your feedback in various channels. And this is to prove that we are listening to you, to your voice, not only just the idea portal, but also on different channels that you communicate with us. Just a quick reminder as to what this feature was that we introduced in 9.12. It was one of the most popular ideas from the ideas portal, where basically users were asking for an automatic feature for the concordance window. Up until then, we had a bunch of reports from users that this search in target checkbox caused a lot of concern and a lot of issues to them. Plus, also some of the UI elements were misleading. So what we did was we came up with a solution whereby we eliminated the checkbox, fixed some of the UI issues, and we incorporated an automated system to detect whether the user is on the target or on the source side on the translation grid. And depending on the text selected, you will see that the behavior changed. In the old system, you had to have this checkbox remembered where it was searching. So in this case, you were searching in the target. That was good. But if you forgot about this setting and you were trying to highlight an item from the source side and you click concordance, you were surprised that you didn't get any result. Maybe you were not even surprised after about 4 or 5 search attempts, and then you realized, oh my gosh, this search in target checkbox is on. So I need to go back and search all the 4 or 5 phrases that I tried to search for previously, but now with the checkbox unticked. So to resolve this issue, we came up with this new UI. And as you can see, in this particular case, I have Fortress highlighted on the target side. So the concordance feature, if I activate it using the concordance icon or click concordance here on the screen or on the toolbar or the ribbon, then the search will be automatically done on the target side. Similarly, if I highlight a phrase on the source side, then you can see that the radio button changed, and now the search is on the source side. But obviously, if you wanted to search at a different place, you can still click search in target, and then the phrase that's here will be searched for on the target side. So we thought that we had it nailed. We actually had some feedback from users before we released it in 9.12, and they were all happy. And the initial reception was really good. But soon we had more and more complaints pouring into our support, obviously from users who did not visit our IDS portal and did not vote on this idea. So we received a number of tickets, also some feedback on social media. So then what did we do? Well, we revisited this newly released feature, and we are not going to introduce it in an upcoming release, but we actually are going to implement this modified feature that you're going to see on all current versions. So even the long-term support 9.12's next maintenance release will have this new feature in there, as well as the current 9.14, so you don't need to wait until 10.0. So what we did was we did some research and actually user survey. We talked to users, and they actually revealed a number of use cases. They said that, well, some of them like the auto detect idea, some of them did not like it at all. And some said, I actually want to be able to search in source or search in the target every time with a separate keyboard combination, and I still want to maintain my initial settings on the Concordance screen. Some other users said they didn't like the auto detection simply because they very often used copy source to target as they were translating. So we took all those considerations into account, and we came up with this solution. We have now an optional auto detect source target, and if you have this turned on, it will work the same way as before, except that you will see these are actually disabled, and you will only see the indication where the auto detection or the auto search is working. But you also have an option here, as you can see in the information bar. You can search in the source or in the target anytime you wish, using a separate keyboard combination, Alt-K and Alt-Shift-K by default. The good news is, if you don't like this, no worries, you can still redefine these. So under the memoQ shortcuts, under options, you will have 2 new items that you will be able to customize and define to your needs. So as you can see, we did quite a bit of research, talked to users, and hopefully now this revisited and corrected or modified new feature, Concordance feature, will cover all the use cases that you may have, and all those who use the copy source to target, all those who just use memoQ the regular way, and even those who wish to be able to use custom shortcuts. So there you go. This was, like I said, not a brand new feature, but we revisited an original feature request or idea from the IDEA portal. What else has come up in 9.13 and 9.14? Well, a new feature we introduced is what we call change default smart quotes. The problem was that over the years, we received a number of bug reports that in certain languages, the smart quotes were defined incorrectly in memoQ. And even bigger, the problem was then that after a couple of years, in some cases, for the very same language, another user would say, well, this is wrong, the original was better, or even suggested a third one. So we kind of got lost in the middle of all this, and we figured it would be best to leave it to the user to decide what in their native language or in the language of their proficiency they believe the correct smart quotes are. So what we did was we introduced just a tiny little option here on the autocorrect settings dialog. It's called Customize Smart Quotes. If you click on it, you will see this new dialog where you can select the languages that already have custom smart quotes defined. For instance, in English, you can see these single quotes opening and closing and double quotes opening and closing. And you have the option to redefine, customize these single quotes or double quotes. You can enter anything you wish. And once you modify the default ones, you can save them. Or if you get lost or you want to restore the original behavior, just click Restore Defaults and all the defaults will be restored. Even better than that, if memoQ currently does not have smart quote options defined for a certain language, then you have the option to add a new language. Click on Add New Language. You will have a drop down. You can select, say, Latin. And once you add it to the list above, you will have the very same option to define single and double quotes, smart quotes for Latin. So hopefully now everyone can just teach memoQ your own preferences, and memoQ will use those smart quotes that you prefer to use for the specific languages. Okay, let's move on to memoQ Web. WebTrans. WebTrans has received a number of improvements over the years, but still empty was missing from among the translation results, and empty obviously has become more and more widely used over the years. So we've had quite a number of user requests to actually show empty results on the WebTrans interface. So we basically implemented the same behavior on WebTrans as on the client. Now on WebTrans, you can see the very same orange color. And if you use pre-translation with MT, you will see the very same yellow color for the specific segments, as you can see on the client. So we wanted to create a consistent behavior and also showing you the source of the information, in this case, the MT service provider. Even better than that, now that MT is shown here and is incorporated in WebTrans, we now introduce the auto-insert options to WebTrans as well. If you click on translation results, the eye icon, and double click on it, then you will see, in addition to the two existing tabs, a third one, automatic insertion. And basically, if you have this turned on, you can define, what percentage upwards best TM or corpus hit should be automatically inserted into the target segment as you translate. Or if there's no TM hit, say you only have like a 50 some percent or not even 60% TM hit, then if you have empty configured, then machine translated hits will be inserted into the target segment. So this will obviously save you some time to populate your WebTrans rows. These two additions to WebTrans will hopefully improve your empty user experience on the web. Still sticking with memoQ Web, let's turn over to Qterm. Before we can talk about this new feature called Show Active Filter, let's give you some background info. So in Qterm, you can define a number of filters for various reasons. You always have a default filter for every single Qterm term base, but you can define, say, one filter that would filter for project 1, another filter that will filter for project 2. Project 2 filter would be something like, project equals, I don't know, project 2, meaning that only those terms would be visible to the user that have that match the criteria set up for project 2 filter. Why would you have these filters? Well, let's imagine that you're working on a translation of a specific game version. So if you have your favorite game, I don't know, World Rallycross Championship, for instance, then you would want to translate the strings in that game. But you might very well want to use different terminology from one version, say number 9, to number 10. So you would create a filter that would list the terms for version number 9 and another filter for version number 10. And depending on the translation job, you would apply these filters to the specific project. So if translator A works on the game's version number 9, then you would apply project 1 filter, and for the other translator working on version 10, you would apply project number 2 filter. So this is how it works on memoQ web, and this is how it looks on the client. You can select a language for, say, a multilingual project. Once you select this term base, then you have a pop-up where you need to pick the filter that you want to apply. The default filter will display all the terms in the term base. Anything else would just apply a different filter. So for German, we select filter number 1. Then for the translation from English to Hungarian, we select the filter project 2 filter. And if you switch from German or Hungarian to all languages, then you will see a different information. So let's see how it works now. The new feature now shows you that if you're in the project under term basis, you can see that we have some properties listed of the term base. And under these properties, now you can see that in the project, this specific Qterm term base is going to be used for the target language German using a project 1 filter. And for the target language Hungarian, project 2 filter will be applied. Why is it such a big deal? Well, because up until now, once you have the filters defined, there was no way of telling which filter was used in which languages or even for which project. The only way to do that was for project managers to remove or remove the assignment of that term base from the project and reassign it and then define the new filter. But now, from this point on, they can check the project at any time and make sure that they have the correct filters applied for the specific languages. And what happens if you have the target language, not Hungarian and German, but rather all languages selected? Well, then you can see that you have a mixed filter, one filter for one language and another filter for another language. So this is fully informative, I believe, and you can easily keep track of which Qterm filters are used for which languages and in which projects. Moving on to another Qterm feature, well, but just showing you that it's also implemented on the web. You can now see the filter for the specific languages. Here, for instance, for Hungarian, you can see the project 2 filter as before. So all these options and all this information is now fully displayed, not only on the web, not only on the client, but also on the web. Now, moving on to the other thing, it's a very specific feature that many of you requested. One hindrance in Qterm was that up until now, if you added a custom field and you marked it as required, then Qterm made it mandatory to enter a default value. Now, typically default values are good enough, but what happens if you have something like this? You want to enter the client's reference code, and it's not a number, but it can be any kind of combination of letters and numbers. So any kind of alphanumeric value can be entered here. So you want to select the text option. But as you can see, if you try to save this custom filter or custom field, then Qterm will warn you that this field is required. Okay, fine with me. I enter then ABC123. Okay, but what happens then if you want to enter a new entry or edit an existing one? Well, this is what happens. Every time you want to enter or add a new entry to your term base, because it's a required field, now Qterm will display the default value, which in this case is ABC123, which is really not that nice. I mean, you need to go here and delete it every single time and update it to the specific client reference code that applies to the specific entry. So what we did was we eliminated the requirement for a default value. As you can see here, we were able to now in memoQ 9.14, we were able to save this new custom field in the Qterm TB as required and as a text, but without a default value. So let's put it to the test. I'm in a project. I want to add a new term to my term base. What do? I want to create a new term. So I bring up this window, and as you can see, I have it in blank. I can even leave it blank if I don't have a client's reference code if you want to, but more typically than not, you would want to enter a value for that. So no default values anymore. So that was it from my side, and let's now turn over to the Q&A session, and thank you all for your attention. Let me mute myself, and if you have any comments to the existing or to the upcoming questions, Marianna, feel free to answer them or anyone.
Thank you, Zsolt and Marianna, for this presentation. Hopefully we have a good number of questions. And as I see there, Marianna selected a lot to answer them live. So if you are ready, then please go ahead.
Sure. Okay, so one question was about restoring, if it's possible for to restore parts of a backup. For example, restore a TM, but not a term base, etc. Unfortunately not. You can have a look at the scope of your backup package for restoring it, but not select which resource can be restored or not. This is not there yet, I would say, but I would encourage you to put all of your ideas to the idea portal so that we have feedbacks on any missing functionalities. So if people need it, we will regularly take a look at all these functionalities. And I would also want to add that if you already have some content on your target device, and there is the very same content in your backup package, you will get an information about it, and you will be asked which one will you keep, the one at your computer or the one that is in the backup package. And you can choose at this point. And there was also another question. I think I answered it already in writing, but that was also about which one of the resources is selected by default, and the newest one. So the answer is the newest one, but not in all the cases. But you will have an information on the conflict page when you select a package for backup. So you will get an information on TMs, TBs, and live docs. You will get the latest one selected by default, and all the other resources like memoQ options and light resources, where this information is not available at the moment within the software, then you will have the backup package selected by default, I think. But you can still choose another option as well. So there was another question about switching licenses. This is a really complicated issue. So switching licenses is not done automatically. So if you want to have a second computer and you need to move your license from one computer to the other, you need to contact support. Just write an email to support, to the support team, and they will answer you in a minute. Well, soon. It doesn't take that much time. So the guys are really helpful and try to solve all license requests very, very soon. Okay, another question, backup. Can I backup online and on the hard disk at the same time? You can select specific scenarios, and for one scenario, you can define only one destination. But because you have as many scenarios as you wish, please feel free to create the very same scenario with another destination. So basically, you can have the very same backup package on 2 different devices if you wish.
Okay, shall I take over, Mariana?
Okay, I just checked, but yes, please take over. And if
All right.
I still see something, then come back.
Okay. So where can we find the customized smart codes option, please? That's under translation settings and autocorrect. Then you will have the option coming up there. So once you're in a document, click on the ribbon translation settings, and then you will see under autocorrect. All right, the next one, concordance search. I don't have the same option as Zsolt. Okay, that's because we have just modified the behavior, and like I said, it's going to be pushed to both the current version 9.14 and the long-term support 9.12 version in the upcoming maintenance release. So currently, I was looking it up on our build server, and it's going to be called 9.14.5. So that's why you cannot see the very same behavior. So keep your eyes peeled. As soon as we have the new maintenance release out, the new concordance feature should be included in there. Okay, what about being able to see our customized fields when creating a new entry through the memoQ editor in Qterm? Yes, this is a problem that we are going to answer in memoQ 10.0. So I forgot to mention that we will have several more Qterm related pain points fixed in version 10.0, and also hopefully in 10.2 we'll have the moderated term base feature ready for Qterm as well. So keep your eyes peeled again for memoQ 10.0. Then Qterm, is there an updated user guide for 9.14? Annalena is asking. I'm not aware of a separate user guide, but I know that our documentation center typically help.memoQ.com should have the latest information in there. If you don't find any answer there, just feel free to contact me and Elena. What are TB filters used for? I actually mentioned it during the presentation. In Qterm, you have the option to select or set up actually term-based filters. And like I said, it's handy if you don't want a specific translator or group of translators working in a project see the entire term base, but just a section of the term base for a number of reasons. Maybe for confidentiality, but for in the most common scenario, your term base might have various versions of terminology that evolved over time, but you still want to keep the old versions. So you may want to have or certain entries are only relevant to a specific version of a software. Some others are relevant for a new version, and obviously you don't want to mix those up. So this is just to keep like terms in silos and use terms properly in the specific term base in the specific project where they are intended. So this is basically what TB filters are used for. When will the next release be launched? The next release will be called memoQ 10.0, and the tentative release date is around late February, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mariana, but that's what my latest recollection is. So late this month, I would say. Then there has recently been a survey about subscription options versus permanent license costs. Are there any results yet, and or even plans when this will be introduced? Another project or product manager is working on this project. I know that they are still in the research phase. I can't really say any specific about that. But in due course, when there will be more specific plans, I'm pretty sure that we'll communicate about that. Is there a place where I can see what is being planned for the 10.0 release so that we can plan the upgrade? We'll have some communication coming up. So just, follow us on social media and we'll communicate about the new features. We'll have some teasers coming up very soon. But yeah, I don't know if you want to say anything more specific at this point. Mariana, what do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's only in marketing's hands
Yes.
at this point. The product is ready, some final testing is done, and it's going to be released later this month. Okay. Will there be more updates on Qterm in 10.0? Yes, there will be some more updates, just like being able to see all the even the optional fields for term entry. So you don't have to create a term or you don't have to create an entry, then go back and edit again. So some of these pain points will be addressed in 10.0, I believe 3 or 4, yes. So we look forward to presenting it to you, Annalena, later. Okay, is there a plan to add a merge option when importing new terms in TB? I'm not sure if it's about the memoQ TB or Qterm. Did you perhaps consider allowing to select a specific Qterm filter to be considered in QA? Not yet. This is a feature request that I would highly encourage to add to the ideas portal. Just like the other ones, as Mariana mentioned. And it looks to me that we have covered all the questions. Is there anything else, Mariana, that you can see? I don't see.
No, I think I think we covered everything in
All
the
right.
question and answer.
So thank you for the number of questions. Hopefully you receive your answers. And now back to you, Bente.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you all for this amazing number of questions. So thank you for being here with us. You will receive an email when the recording is ready, and you will receive the Q&A sheet as well. We finished right on time, so let me just thank you again, Marianna and Zsolt, for the presentation, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.